guys, and welcome to another PK12 Productions video. So we're going to review the iPad 2, obviously. Here it is in all its glory with the smart cover on there. So we take this off, and here we are, the iPad 2. Number of things I found good about it, and a number of things I found bad about it. But in general, the iPad 2 is pretty good. And I'll show you exactly what I mean when it comes to that. So stay tuned, and we're gonna step first impressions with the iPad 2. Pretty much, you're looking at a pretty sleek design here. So if we take the smart cover off here for now, we'll show you. One thing I'll probably have to say about this is that I probably need to get a screen protector for it because it is prone to a lot of fingerprints. I never noticed obviously before because I had a screen protector on the original iPad 1. So, things to notice here. Front facing camera. Brilliant for if you want to use stuff like obviously photo booth. That's pretty good. You go all type of effects, as you can see, so we can go take goofy effects. There's one I prepared earlier, so brilliant little things like that. So if we can go into, say, various other things we can try out here is obviously FaceTime, which is a brilliant part of what you can do with obviously iPhones, Macs, and also other iPads now. So I'll give you a brief tour of that later. Other improvements we could probably see here, if you look at the tour of this particular iPad, this is the iPad 3G, you'll see that this design, in comparison to probably the iPad 1, is incredibly thin compared to, obviously, many tablets, not just the iPad 1. Certainly, if you're an iPad 1 user and you want this, you want the camera and that type of stuff, I do recommend getting this. It is worth the upgrade. It's certainly speedier. Especially if you're a gamer, you know, the speed is incredibly noticeable. Obviously, web won't be faster based on your internet connection, but if you've got a fast internet connection, it's the same internet connection, you'll find that the web generates a little bit faster from, say, for instance, any web page you bring up. It should come up a little bit faster, obviously, in comparison to iPad 1. So, front-facing camera, rear-facing camera. Usual suspects here, your earphone jack, lock switch, your mute and rotation, as well as obviously your volume rocker. This part here I do find a little bit annoying. This is the dock connector, obviously. It is a pain in the ass to sometimes plug in your into a dock, like for instance the keyboard dock. It is a bit of a pain in the ass and it can scratch. So there's the slant thing, not a big fan of. Speaker generally is over here, but it's actually quite good in terms of quality. It's actually a little bit more clearer. General speed is relatively good for rotation, courtesy of the obviously the gyroscope. From first glance, that's pretty much all I can really say at this point. Oh yeah, as I forgot, the SIM card connector, which is there. That is a little bit hard to also to get out your SIM card and all that sort of stuff. But as I said, I'll get through that in a sec. Later. One thing I have to say surfing the web with this thing on 3G has been absolutely awesome in terms of connectivity. It's been able to maintain better 3G signal than my iPhone 4, so that is incredibly cool. The previous iPad didn't hold as better signal than the iPhone 4, so this actually holds a very good signal for multiple places where I wouldn't have a signal at all. So I am actually quite amazed on the signal quality on 3G. So that's pretty awesome as well. So we'll get to the rest of this in a couple of minutes. Cheers. Same thing from the front facing camera. Okay, this is video from the front. This is the rear facing camera. Alright guys, so applications. Let's try out, obviously, GarageBand. This is one of the keynote applications that are available for the iPad 2 and the iPad 1 for that matter. Here we are right now. We're looking at the main screen you would see on GarageBand in the Mac. Similar interface. All the instruments you want to look at here. We'll start with drums, obviously, it's the main part of this. So let's hear what we can do with drums. This is a full drum kit. We can go our hi-hat, we can go our snare. As you can see there, we've got our bass drum. We have pretty much our tom-tom drums, crash, and ride cymbals. So, a little beat to lay down here. Rightio, let's try another instrument. We'll look at the keyboard now. Now this has many functions, not just playing your keyboard there. You can actually do various things. Now this is not the smart keyboard, we'll get to that in a sec, but this is pretty much as good as it gets with a on-screen keyboard. Alright, let's take a look at another project I prepared earlier. And this will just show you what you can do. So I'm just going to press play. Here we go. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it does the job, as you can hear right there. Anyway, so let's move on to... Alright, FaceTime. Let's have a look at that. Alright, so if we go into the app right now and we take a look at this, alright, here's an example of how we're going to do it. So obviously I'm filming off my iPad with my iPhone 4 as the other FaceTime component to this. So we're going to show you here, as you can see, I'm viewing a FaceTime of my iPhone 4, so I'm looking directly where my iPhone 4 is looking at the moment. So as you can see, the interface allows you to pretty much see a full complete range of everything you want to see there. As you can see from the iPhone view, you can see me in both images, as you can see there. Settings. One thing I found really good about this is the restriction that you have to lock and unlock the screen with your smart cover. This is the option I found incredibly useful also in the settings. Alright, let's take a look at iMovie. Alright, so I've already covered this in a previous review back there, but let's see it on the iPad 2. So taking you through it, it's much faster than the iPad 1, as you can see. Now you can just drag and drop your videos as you see fit, pretty much double tap it, and there you go. So this is a couple of video footage I did the previous for this review. This is the front facing camera footage that you may have just seen. And also we can obviously do all our editing here, and you've already seen the review, so let's move on to the next component of this review. This is a blue snowball. What am I going to do with this? Well, I'm going to test out the microphone abilities on the iPad. How am I going to do it? With this. 30-pin connector to USB port connection. Right, let's get started. So, USB 30-pin connector, let's get started with this. Alright, what you need to do is take a USB cable of the blue snowball, plug her in, and now we're going to stick her into the iPad 2 as such. So you can do this with the iPad 1 as well, by the way. So now that we go in, we're going to go into the GarageBand app again, and we're going to test this out. Now clearly I'm not going to give you a recording sample because pretty much I'm using the blue snowball at the moment, and the recording sample is pretty much as you're hearing right now from the iPad. So I'm just going to show you what exactly happens when you connect it through. See, it actually gives you an option there. As you can see, there's the original iPad printout there showing you where to put your microphone connection, USB microphone. And as you can see, when you actually use the microphone, it will show you down the bottom there. If you're using the on device microphone or using a USB one. At the moment it's showing you, as you can see, USB. Now, as you can see, this is pretty much all you need to know. Basically, it will work with the blue snowball. And remember, any USB microphone can fit with the iPad. Cheers. Alright guys, so pretty much we're looking at here the iPad 2 working on the iPad dock. So the original iPad dock we're looking at here. So as you can see, there it is, all its glory, all the keys there, fits perfectly in the dock, well, relatively perfectly in the dock. As you can probably see there, we've got all the keys, the home key works, all the keys generally that work on the iPad 1 work on the iPad 2, so the accessory is very useful indeed. You can even lock it. So yes, everything works here. So as I can demonstrate, we're going straight in. Brilliant. It's everything you could ever want. On the iPad keyboard, it's right there for you. You can even put the smart cover on. Go put it completely on, and it still works out for you. Absolutely brilliant. Right, Nova 2, let's take a look at this on the iPad 2. Now, I'm using the Fling controllers as well with the iPad 2, so you can see it does actually run quite well. So, I'm using the dual analog stick mode that Nova 2 has, and takes full advantage of the full aspect ratio of the controls. Now, for this, as you can see, I'm now going to go into the interface that shows you how to do puzzles and that sort of thing. I will show you a action scene very shortly. Just letting me get into here. This mode is a little bit difficult though, I have to say. Even with the flings involved, it is very, very sensitive. Now, as you can see here, how the speed of it is actually quite well done. So the previous games you've probably seen there with the other cars are incredibly useful as well, but we're going to show you now an action scene. Here we go. And you're also going to see how hard it is to actually use dual analog sticks in Nova 2 as well. Sensitivity I have put down as low as I possibly can for this. And yeah, here we go. So what is it about the iPad 2 that makes you want to get out and buy this device? Is it its willingness to do tasks a PC can do without effort? Is it attention to detail? Or is it simply that Apple has mastered the art of marketing since Moses wore undies? Well, I can tell you this, it's not because of its input deficiency. And it's not for the fact that it doesn't come with earphones. And it's not the fact that you can't seem to have a fingerprint resistive screen. No. Apple hasn't designed a device that is a necessity, but merely a work of art. So why would you get one of these? Well, the answer is simple. Because it's an Apple.